Chapter 31 Let's Sleep on a Bed. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Hey, Sui was stunned. He was about to say something, but he held it back. He could only maintain his serious expression. Jiang Xiaozi was understanding. She took the initiative to break the silence and reported to Sui respectfully. Sir, we harvested a lot of supplies tonight. Here is the list. I have made a detailed record. I hope readers will remember our domain name Taiwan Novel Network. Jiang Xiaozi handed over a piece of paper like a magic trick, which was full of the contents of the supplies. The women didn't know when she made the record, but they just thought this scene was too magical. Yeah. Sui nodded seriously, looked at the list carefully for a while, and lowered his voice and asked, how long will it last us? Considering the problem of food decay, so many people will probably last less than half a month. Jiang Xiaozi also lowered his voice. If you consider the efficiency of subsequent exploration and material collection, sir, you don't need to worry too much about this problem. I can solve it. Okay. Sui nodded with satisfaction. Since there was an extra Jiang Xiaozi in the shelter, he was completely liberated. It really fulfilled the saying, if there is something, use the secret technique, if there is nothing, use the secret, cough cough. Anyway, this is the truth. In short, Jiang Xiaozi is very capable. You did a good job, and everyone did a good job. Sui looked at the crowd. He didn't know what happened, and suddenly opened his mouth and said, comrades, you have worked hard. Oh no. Being called chief, I really blurted out this sentence out of habit. The women were also stunned, only Lin Yu behind him stood at attention instantly and saluted reflexively. Serve the people. The women also reacted and shouted in unison, serve the people. The voices of the women were clear and pleasant, and the shouts were much more uniform, which was a bit of the momentum of the female soldiers. Sui looked at the women and seemed to see a touch of excitement in their eyes, which seemed different from the hesitation during the day. This group of poor women whose shelters were destroyed at the beginning of the Doomsday should have died painfully in the Doomsday, but now, they seemed to have found the courage and confidence to live again. Good, very impressive. Sui highly praised and fully affirmed the transformation of the women. Jiang Xiaozi smiled at this scene, and when he paused, he whispered, Sir, there are some things I want to talk to you about. Come up. Sui nodded and motioned Jiang Xiaozi to go upstairs with him. After the two left, the women in the hall suddenly exploded and started to discuss. Hey, don't you think the chief is handsome? Yes, and still very young. Wait, why did Miss Jiang go upstairs with him? Need I say that? They must have. Hush, you know it. They are really a perfect match. I don't know who to envy. Do you think? Between them, who is more powerful? Is it the chief? No, I think Miss Jiang is more powerful. She must give face to the chief in front of outsiders, but she must be very fierce behind closed doors. Sir. As soon as Jiang Xiaozi entered the room, he knelt down in front of Sui submissively. What? Sui looked at Jiang Xiaozi in surprise. Jiang Xiaozi gently took off Sui's shoes and said softly, you are the master and I am the servant. You respect me outside, and I must abide by the rules inside. I don't have so many rules here. Get up. Sui waved his hand and asked curiously, by the way, I haven't asked you about your origins in detail. Lin Yu is a modern soldier, Liya is a modern engineer, and you, are you from an earlier time? Judging from Jiang Xiaozi's performance, she doesn't look like a modern person. She attaches great importance to rules and seems to have some traditional persistence in her heart. Sir, if you look at it in terms of time, I am a modern person. Jiang Xiaozi obviously knows what era it is now. She lowered her head and gently took off Sui's socks. If you count carefully, it should be the Republic of China. Republic of China? Sui was stunned and pondered slightly. So, do you know why you came here? Sui has always been confused about the talent unit recruited by the shelter. Are they clones, or are they earthlings summoned from a special time and space? I guess so. Jiang Xiaozi smiled and said, "My world is not quite the same as yours, but there are many similarities. Anyway, since I'm here, I will serve you well. After all, I can't go back." Jiang Xiaozi lowered his eyebrows and made Sui a little embarrassed. "What did you want to tell me just now?" "We did encounter some thugs in the shopping mall tonight." Jiang Xiaozi whispered. "According to their own account, they are from the Little White Bear Shelter, perhaps residents or subordinates." Little White Bear Shelter, Sui was shocked. "This is the shelter of the murderer. This is the first on the PK murder list. How did you do it?" Sui stared at Jiang Xiaozi. Jiang Xiaozi raised his head and smiled gently at Sui. "I asked Lin Yu to kill them." "Kill them all?" "At least I killed everyone I saw." Jiang Xiaozi said very calmly. "I asked the girls to act as bait to lure them out, and then I made sure that most of them showed up before letting Lin Yu take action. At first, I didn't want to kill them all, but after they told me about the Little White Bear Sanctuary, I knew that I might not be able to have it both ways, so I had to be more cruel." "Xiaozi, you did the right thing." Sui took a deep breath and praised in a complicated tone. He agreed with Jiang Xiaozi's approach. For the safety of himself and the shelter, Sui never wanted to deal with this Little White Bear Shelter, at least not now. Jiang Xiaozi killed all the people, which at least cut off the clues and would not cause unnecessary trouble to the shelter. "It's just that we can't go back to that shopping mall." Jiang Xiaozi sighed slightly. "It's not easy to find a place where we can obtain supplies in large quantities for a long time. It seems that Lin Yu will have to work hard to search for more things." "It doesn't matter, these will be available." Sui is not worried about survival. His talent for shelter will definitely solve his current predicament. What Sui is thinking about now is what Jiang Xiaozi did tonight. Although she spoke in an understatement, Sui could hear the faint smell of blood in her tone. Sui originally thought that Jiang Xiaozi was a smart and gentle woman, a typical internal affairs talent, not good at weapons, good at strategy, and good at management. But now, Sui's judgment was wrong. That's right. For a smart woman who came out of the Republic of China, how could her methods not be ruthless? Sui sighed in his heart. That era was very chaotic. "Gentlemen. Will you hate me?" "Why do you say that?" Sui looked at Jiang Xiaozi. Jiang Xiaozi lowered his head and gently beat his calf for him. His voice was very soft. "I asked Lin Yu to kill so many people. Men, probably don't like such women very much. You're just trying to protect yourself, and you're also trying to protect me. How could I feel bad about it?" Sui took a deep breath, tentatively put his hand on Jiang Xiaozi's hair, and stroked it gently. "Don't worry, I won't dislike you. You are my most important partner." Sui could feel that Jiang Xiaozi's body seemed to tremble slightly, then, she nodded and responded softly, "Yes." "Gentlemen. It's very late, do you still want to rest?" "Well. I really didn't sleep well last night. I really need to catch up on my sleep." Sui smiled. Last night he was worried about the safety of Lin Yu and Jiang Xiaozi and couldn't sleep well. Although it is dark now, it does not affect Sui from continuing to lie down and sleep. There was no way. The three women in the shelter were so capable that Sui didn't need to worry about trivial matters at all now. The only thing Sui needs to do now is to stay in the shelter, eat, drink and have fun, and then wait for the reward to arrive. "Xiaozi, I'm going to take a nap. Call me at noon. I have important things to do at noon every day." "I will, sir." "Well, then hey. Xiaozi, why are you taking off your clothes?" Hey. Why are you in bed?" Sui was startled and quickly retreated to the bed. "Are you sleepy? Should I give you the bed?" "Gentlemen." Jiang Xiaozi was wearing a red dress that looked like a bellyband. She tried her best to lower her head to prevent Sui from seeing her blushing cheeks, and her voice was soft but firm. "Sir, I think it might be better if we sleep together." "Xiaozi, you misunderstood. I am not such a person." Sui was stunned, waved his hand and said seriously, "You are very beautiful, but we have not known each other for a long time. I can understand your loyalty and dependence on me, but I will not use this to force you to sleep with me. You don't need to at all. Do this. Sir, that's wrong. Jiang Xiaozi raised her head, with confused beautiful eyes on her rosy cheeks. You sleep with me. Huh? Shall I sleep with you? Sui was stunned and blinked, unable to recover. I'll stay with you, you stay with me, all while sleeping. Does it make any difference? In a moment of silence, Sui saw Jiang Xiaozi lower his head again and said softly, Sir, I'm sorry, I was the one who offended. Jiang Xiaozi bent down to pick up her cheongsam, not caring that the perfect curves of her body were exposed in front of Sui. She felt a little disappointed, but it was not because of Sui's rejection, more like a homeless child, wandering in the dark. Perhaps, talents are also human beings, no different from me. Sui looked at Jiang Xiaozi silently and called out to her, Wait, come up and sleep. Sir, do you agree? Jiang Xiaozi smiled happily and faced Sui with her smooth jade back. She turned around and folded her cheongsam and put it on the bed table. Her unabashed trust and unreserved revelation of herself made Sui unconsciously cautious. Yes, I agreed. Sui scratched his head, but, let's sleep plain. Sir, aren't you going to kill me? I think you shouldn't want to. I can do that. Whenever you can remove the word, can. Sui shrugged his shoulders. Perhaps, you just need a bed where you can rest peacefully, not a man like me. Perhaps, you just need a sense of identity similar to home. You come from another world, a woman who came from one chaotic world to another. The wandering prodigal son also favors the warm harbor, and will also pay something he is unwilling to pay for it. Sir. Jiang Xiaozi smiled and lay beside Sui, gently covering him with a quilt. Has anyone told you that you are indeed a good person? Xiaozi, in my era, good people are not a compliment. Sir, it's a good man. Chapter 32 New Reward, Greenhouse Room. You are listening at novelfull.audio. A good night's sleep, there was no storm, only the man and woman's random thoughts in silence, and Sui snoring gradually. To be honest, Sui felt very comfortable sleeping like this. There was a big beauty lying next to him, almost without any clothes, and her smooth skin felt cold. Sui didn't know whether it was because of the air conditioning in the freezer or because of the skin contact. Taiwan Novel Network. He was not a virgin, but he had a rare slight nervousness. Tonight. Sir. Sir. When Jiang Xiaozi's gentle voice sounded in his ears again, Sui opened his eyes and found that the red sun was hanging high in the sky. What time is it now? Sui got up from the bed and turned to see Jiang Xiaozi changed into a red cheongsam and was arranging a sumptuous dish on the table. It's already 11:30, sir, you still have enough time to have lunch first. Jiang Xiaozi walked slowly to Sui and helped him dress, which made Sui a little uncomfortable. He is a good homebody in the new era, and he has never experienced the life of a master in the feudal era. Sir. Jiang Xiaozi seemed to see Sui's unnaturalness, and she whispered, You always have to let me do something to make me feel that I am really important to you. Okay. Sui had no choice but to relax and let Jiang Xiaozi do it. After washing up, Sui sat at the dining table and enjoyed a sumptuous lunch while asking, What are the arrangements for the gathering place today? Rest, renovate, and clean up. Jiang Xiaozi picked up some food for Sui and reported softly, We have just occupied this building not long ago. The rooms on the upper and lower floors need to be sorted out, and there are many daily necessities that need to be carefully distributed. We now have more than a dozen people. Although not many, we also need a detailed management charter. So I didn't arrange for everyone to go out today, and even Lin Yu didn't go out to explore for supplies. After all, we killed so many people yesterday, and there must be someone nearby searching for us now. Jiang Xiaozi paused and smiled and said, Simply, let's take this opportunity to clean up the house. Good arrangement. Sui nodded in praise, and Jiang Xiaozi said, For the convenience of management, the 6th floor and above are listed as restricted areas, and non-talented people are not allowed to go upstairs. In this way, the group of women will not be able to contact you, and if you want to recruit residents later, they will not be able to see you easily, which can greatly ensure your safety. Jiang Xiaozi paused and said tentatively, "Of course, if you need it, you can tell me at any time, and I will select some reliable and beautiful women to bring up." "What are you bringing up?" Sui was stunned and waved his hand quickly. "Goodbye, I'm not a sex-hungry ghost. Everyone gathers together to survive. There is no need to really treat me as a feudal king." "Yes, sir." Jiang Xiaozi pursed his lips and smiled, very satisfied. Sui is a traditional Chinese man. His life creed is to be self-sufficient when poor and to help the world when rich. If we don't have the ability, we just live well. If we have the ability, we don't mind helping the poor people. The Chinese nation has been able to grow and develop to this day because of this simple survival concept. Since there is nothing to do today, let everyone have a good rest. Sui put down his bowl and chopsticks. He was full. Tell everyone not to worry too much about the future, live a down-to-earth life, and strive to give everyone a kind of life with what conditions we have. But also let everyone know that we don't raise ungrateful people here. Recognize what era it is now, don't be dazed and do some messed up things, it will be too late to regret it later. "Yes, sir." Jiang Xiaozi bowed his head and responded respectfully, "I will set rules and not let you worry." "Xiaozi, you are really good." Sui nodded with satisfaction and patted Jiang Xiaozi on the shoulder, "Do a good job. The leader is optimistic about you." "Yes, sir." Jiang Xiaozi smiled very gently and cooperated with Sui very well. After the two of them exchanged some ideas, Jiang Xiaozi packed up the bowl and chopsticks and left the house. Although there was no task to explore supplies today, there were many things to do next. Since Sui recruited Jiang Xiaozi, she is now the busiest person in the entire shelter. Sui has basically delegated power to Jiang Xiaozi in all major affairs and aspects, because Sui believes that her management ability must be much better than his own. With Sui having ensured the loyalty of talents, Jiang Xiaozi is now basically in a position second only to him. As for Sui himself, after having Jiang Xiaozi, his life has become more and more relaxed. At night, he sleeps with a soft beauty in his arms, and when he opens his eyes, he sees hot meals. No matter what he does, there are people to serve him, and he only needs to issue orders to do anything. This may be, just stretch out your hand for clothes and open your mouth for food. Sui sighed, sitting on the recliner next to the window, squinting his eyes to feel the temperature coming from the red sun outside the window. Because the cold air transmission mechanism of the freezer has been expanded, the temperature in the room is controlled by Jiang Xiaozi at around 28 degrees, which directly causes Sui to feel chilly all the time and have the urge to bask in the sun. This sounds exaggerated. People outside the shelter were struggling to survive in the high temperature. Every day, people died of dehydration or heat stroke. Everyone was madly studying the game mechanism of the shelter, desperately exchanging meager cooling resources to ensure their survival. Only Sui, a freak, actually wanted to bask in the sun in the high-temperature doomsday. In a daze, Sui suddenly felt something flashing in front of his eyes. He got up from the recliner and opened his eyes. It turned out that the time was up and the new talent reward had been issued. Congratulations! Trigger the talent reward and get sea-level shelter room. Crop farm can be directly placed. As the information prompt appeared, a yellow design drawing appeared in Sui's hand. Sui looked down and saw the relevant item information on the design drawing. Crop farm, sea-level shelter room, can be placed in the vacant room position of the shelter. Need to occupy 2 room positions. After placement, a fully equipped farm environment is automatically generated, and 3 types of crops can be selected for cultivation. Breeding room. Sui was shocked, which meant that he would no longer have to worry about food. There was a freezer that produced unlimited ice water in front, and a breeding farm that took up a whole room in the back. Why would he need to go out to explore for supplies? He could just stay at home and not worry about food and drink. Hurry up and see the effect. Sui quickly opened the information panel of the shelter and entered the construction mode. At present, the shelter can only accommodate 4 houses on the 6th floor. The 6th floor actually has 4 residential houses, which are also displayed as 4 rooms in the building space of the shelter, in addition to the main house where Sui lived and the scientific research room next to it. Sui also had 2 empty rooms that could be accommodated. The reason why Sui left these 2 rooms unused was very simple: no money to accommodate. He did not have points to buy a room, and the reward drawings he received today did not require any additional points and resources, and could be directly accommodated as a whole set of rooms. Choose to accommodate. Resettlement successful. With Sui's confirmation, the new construction of the shelter was completed. Sui could see a flash of golden light outside through the gap of the iron door. Sui hurried out and came to the next door. He pushed open the door and saw a farmland. The whole room was completely changed. There was no distinction between toilet, living room, bedroom, etc., only flat greenhouse facilities. There were necessary facilities for crop cultivation here, such as temperature control equipment, ventilation equipment, lighting equipment, sunlight equipment, etc. However, the greenhouse here has not yet been planted with crops. Sui had just stepped into the room when a new message appeared in front of him. The current crop breeding room has not yet been planted with crops, please make a selection. Below the information, there are a series of various crops, vegetables, and fruits to choose from. The number and variety are not large, about 20 or so, most of which are common varieties, and there are no surprises. Sui tried to choose the 3 cultivation targets of rice, sweet potato, and orange, with a try-and-see attitude. As Sui confirmed, a white light instantly filled the entire greenhouse room. In just a few breaths, a large number of crops appeared and filled the greenhouse room. Crops have been confirmed and entered the cultivation stage. Fertilization can be performed once a day. The resources for daily fertilization can be selected: 100 survival points or normal fertilizer resources. Fertilization can double the maturity time. The current basic maturity time is 3 days/10 gene of yield each. Sui widened his eyes and muttered, "This is a magic weapon." Fertilization accelerates the maturity time. Even if no fertilizer is applied, the basic maturity time is once every 3 days. Fuck. Isn't this just pure free food? Chapter 33: The initial self-circulating system of the shelter. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Although we can only produce 30 kilograms of food in 3 days, how many shelters are there now? There are only 16 people at full capacity. Based on the amount of food consumed by one person every day, the daily food output is only 1 to 1.2 kilograms, not kilograms. 16 people, if they eat enough every day, they will consume 20 pounds, and this large shed room directly meets less than half of the food expenses in the shelter. And all of this is the basic income of the greenhouse without spending anything. If fertilized, the ripening time is shortened. In addition, Sui even saw that there were upgradable operations on the information panel in the room. This greenhouse room is currently at level 1. As long as the shelter is upgraded to level 2, Sui can spend survival points to simultaneously upgrade the greenhouse room and obtain higher food production. Sui made some calculations in his mind, and couldn't help but gasped again, "I made a lot of money, that if we look at it over time, the food production of this thing will only increase in the future." Are sea-level items that have such potential? Or, because it is a room type, reward, Sui doesn't quite understand the rules of the mechanism yet, but he knows better. My talent is so awesome. Jiang Xiaozi decided not to send people to explore for supplies today, which meant that there would be no external income from the shelter today. As a result, the talent reward was a greenhouse room. Don't want to go out and explore, do you? Then just lie down at home. Show it off. Enjoy. Why go out? Wouldn't it be nice to sleep at home with the air conditioner blowing on? Okay, I'm getting more and more comfortable with this end of the world. Sui sighed, and a new prompt message suddenly appeared in front of him. Excuse me, do you use survival points for fertilization operations? Integral. Where do I have points? Lin Yu hasn't brought dispatch points for 2 days. I'm not a murderer. How can I get many points? Wait a minute, I remember that you can also use normal fertilization resources, right? Normal fertilization resources seem to be human excrement, right? Suyi's eyes lit up. In ancient times without modern organic compound fertilizers, smart Chinese farmers often used their own human and animal excrement to fertilize to help crops grow better. Of course, fertilizing with human and animal manure does not just need to be poured directly on it, there are still some operating steps for this thing. Sui vaguely remembered that when he was a child at the farmhouse, he often saw his grandparents gathering their excrement together and stacking it. It seemed that it needed to be fermented. Sui didn't understand the mystery, but he didn't panic. I have Leah. I have Zhang Xiaozi. Leah is an engineer. Even if she doesn't understand fertilization, she should know something about the related chemical reactions and the resulting results, right? Zhang Xiaozi is so smart and she was a woman during the Republic of China. How can she not know how to grow crops? Even if they don't know how to do it, the worst I can do is to fail in fertilizing. It would be nice to try a few more times and learn some skills. Suyi's eyes lit up. He went out decisively, found Zhang Xiaozi, and informed Zhang Xiaozi about the fertilization problem in the greenhouse room. What a magical room. Zhang Xiaozi smiled, then lowered his head and thought, Sir, I have also had the experience of farming. The fertilization with excrement you mentioned is feasible. However, we must pay attention to the issues of isolation and fermentation. It must not be contaminated by sewage. It is also necessary to mix and accumulate excrement with other organic waste, such as straw, plant ash, etc. At the same time, increase ventilation conditions to promote the speed of fermentation. Let the excrement decompose naturally under suitable conditions before irrigation can be carried out. Just as Zhang Xiaozi finished speaking, Leah put down the notebook in her hand and raised her head. Boss, this is actually the decomposition of microorganisms. It promotes the activity of microorganisms through fermentation and converts organic matter into stable humus. In this way, various nutrients needed for crop growth can be formed. But apart from that, I think we still need to pay attention to the issue of deworming. Although the probability is very low, we still need to take precautions before it happens. Leah pondered for a moment. 3 days, about 3 days, I can research a sample pesticide, and then I can try it. Huh. You can even make pesticides. Sui was stunned. He looked at Leah up and down. Sister, what kind of god are you? Why do you feel that you are a bit omnipotent? Can engineers make pesticides? Never heard of it at all. Is this difficult? Leah tilted her head, a little cute. The equipment in the scientific research room is very complete, and there are all kinds of scientific and technological books in it. I don't know much about it, but I can make it based on what the books teach. Besides, aren't we collecting supplies outside every day? Ask Lin Yu to bring me some pesticides and I will analyze the ingredients. It won't be difficult to reproduce something similar. If this matter is completed, our shelter will be able to form a preliminary self-circulation system, which can realize a primary closed-loop structure for internal circulation of food, drinking water, and waste treatment. Of course, I also need the raw materials for making pesticides. After all, I can't turn them into pesticides out of thin air. Leah spread her hands, looking innocent. Sui liked her little appearance more and more the more he looked at her, and he wanted to hold her and kiss her. Talents are all talents. Sui laughed. Okay, I will inform Lin Yu about this. Xiaozi, you should be responsible for the issue of excrement fertilization, right? Of course. Zhang Xiaozi nodded and said with a smile, there are enough people in the shelter. I just happen to be worried about how to deal with everyone's urination and defecation problems if the city's underground system is paralyzed. Now it seems that there is no need to worry too much. Okay. It's decided. Sui made a decision and the two women began to execute the order. When Leah just stood up and prepared to leave, Sui seemed to have thought of something and asked, by the way, Leah. I remember that I haven't given you any new scientific research project tasks recently. Why are you still soaking in the research room every day? At the beginning, Sui gave Leah 2 scientific and technological projects, namely, Scientific Research and Exploration Ability Improvement, and Garbage Treatment Center. The former is to improve the effect of exploration benefits, and the latter is a complete set of automatic garbage treatment system inside the shelter. These 2 scientific and technological projects have long been developed, but Leah still stays in the research room day and night and rarely goes out. There's nothing to do anyway. Leah shrugged her shoulders. I just read books in there when I'm free. There's a lot of useful knowledge in the research room. I think if I can learn more, maybe I can help the boss more. Oh, not bad. Sui's mouth couldn't close with a smile. Okay, very self-conscious. Very motivated. Go and learn. Let's go, boss. Leah waved her hand and jumped out of the room. Look, what a good girl. Even if there is no task, she must be self-motivated, make adequate preparations for the next scientific research task, and constantly recharge herself. She is so self-conscious that she can be called the innate holy body of cattle and horses. Chapter 34 Doomsday War Dungeon. 2 worlds fighting for survival together. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After the 2 women left, Sui entered a long period of idleness again. To be honest, he suddenly felt that the huge benefits brought by the talent reward just now were just a small episode in his long and boring life. What if there are more and more materials? What if talents are more and more useful? I still have nothing to do. Sui lay on the bench again, squinting his eyes, shaking his body, and humming an unknown tune leisurely. Oh, it's so comfortable. If wasting time is also a sin, then I may have committed a heinous sin. Sui fell asleep again in a daze while murmuring. When he opened his eyes again, it was dark. The chirping of women came from downstairs, mixed with a little laughter. Sui went downstairs and looked for a while. It was Jiang Xiaozi who was leading the women to complete the first stage of cleaning the whole building. At this moment, they were gathered together to chat and enjoy a moment of warmth. According to the arrangement Jiang Xiaozi had said, she arranged the women to stay in the same way as the original residents, but the improvement and cleaning work of the whole building was assigned in groups. At the same time, starting from tonight, there will be at least 3 women on duty every day. They don't need to do anything. Just ensure the safety of the building gate, and then stand on the top floor to look around to see if anyone is approaching. Once any abnormality is found, just notify Lin Yu directly. As long as Lin Yu can find the intruder in the first time, there will be no big problem. Under Jiang Xiaozi's arrangement, the entire residential building has entered an orderly development track. Sui did not disturb the women's happy time, silently went upstairs again, took out the chess prepared by Jiang Xiaozi for him, and started playing chess with himself. The leader must always look like a leader. It's not good to read comic books every day. Playing chess can cultivate sentiment. Sui touched his chin and then sighed, mainly because he had finished reading all the comic books, and many of them had been turned over several times. He really had nothing to kill his free time. Without electricity, many conventional entertainment activities cannot be done. It's really boring to go on like this. We have to find a way to save more survival points and let Leah research the technology project of the power system. Sui murmured. When the time comes, I will find a high-end computer and play 700 large-scale standalone games. I will play all night without closing my eyes. When I am tired of playing, I will hug Xiaozi to sleep, eat when I wake up, and continue to play after dinner. Hiss. This life is so cool. Sui sighed. If his parents were around, they would blame him for not doing his job properly, but Sui felt that it was already the end of the world, so what was the point of doing his job properly? Just make sure you are alive and living better and better. If you can't even live happily, what's the point? Sui didn't have any ambitions, nor did he have the spirit of self-sacrifice to save all mankind. He just wanted to live well and make the shelter safer and safer, so safe that even if the sky collapsed and the earth broke apart outside, he would be safe and sound. Just as Sui was imagining a beautiful future life, a mysterious voice that he hadn't heard for a long time suddenly rang in his ears. Warning. All Doomsday Game players, please pay attention. The important rules of the Doomsday Game will be broadcast below. Sui was stunned. his expression suddenly became serious, and he was also surprised in his heart. This mysterious voice has appeared since the first day of the Doomsday, and there has been no movement in the next few days. It has always been a game-related prompt information to guide human survivors on how to use the shelter. Now its voice appears again, as if it is a sign that something big is about to happen. At the same time, in every corner of the world, all humans put down their busy things and waited nervously for the mysterious voice in silence. After a slight pause, the mysterious voice appeared clearly in the ears of every human being. Global notification starts now. The Doomsday Game is about to be a week old. Now open the War Doomsday module, the test of the race. At the beginning of the Doomsday, all militarized humans and politically related groups in the world have been temporarily stored and frozen, and there is no Earth world. The environment of the Earth War Doomsday Dungeon has been built. Militarized personnel from various countries will be deployed to the relevant dungeon world. Sui held his breath, listened carefully to the voice, and kept frowning to analyze the meaning. War Doomsday Dungeon. I was wondering why the army, police and officials were not seen. It turns out that they were all temporarily stored. Now, is it their turn to appear? But from this point of view, it seems that they can't return to Earth yet, Sui murmured, and before he could make a new judgment, the mysterious voice sounded again, now conducting a national notification in the Huaxia region. In 1 hour, the National Doomsday Online voting will be launched. Voting content: determine the difficulty of the war dungeon faced by the militarized people of the country. The higher the difficulty, the richer the reward for the voters after winning the Doomsday War. And after the voting is over, you will immediately receive a random survival material reward based on the difficulty. There is only one ongoing Doomsday War every month. If the country fails in a Doomsday War, 1/10 of the national population will be randomly wiped out. At the same time, a huge strengthening reward will be obtained for the next war. If the wipe operation is not performed after the war fails, a huge weakening penalty will be obtained for the next war. Before the war, humans in the war copy world can send a small amount of information to the country, limited to 10 words, to guide the national vote. Notes for both parties. 1. You only have one life. Please carefully consider the difficulty of choosing a war copy. 2. The war copy affects the difficulty of human survival in a large area. If the war goes to a disadvantage locally, it will still cause doomsday derivative disasters in the country. 3. The war copy world and the Earth's doomsday world are not interoperable. If all military humans in the country die in the war copy, they will only lose the qualification to participate in the next war copy, and will not continue to wipe out the survivors in the Earth country, vice versa. 4. During the war, the survivors of the country can watch the situation of the Doomsday War in the country, or spend survival points to watch the complete process of the war situation. 5. During the war, military humans in the Doomsday War copy can view the number of survivors and the survival situation in their own country on Earth. At the same time, they can choose to ask or give after winning a small-scale battle. Ask, with the qualification of winning, forcibly ask for the survivors in the country, and obtain the materials, items, props, etc. of the designated or random survivors. Before the first war, an additional operation can be performed. Give, with the qualification of winning, forcibly give to the survivors in the country, and give materials, items, props, etc. to the designated or random survivors. Before the first war, an additional operation can be performed. Now starts a 1-hour buffer time. Please prepare both sides in the countries of Earth. Should you let yourself live, or let them live? I look forward to seeing your choice. As the mysterious voice finally disappeared, Sui was stunned for a long time and could not speak. He understood, the Doomsday Game is simply a joke on humans. People who have lived to this day may still think that the first round of high-temperature Doomsday is nothing special. As long as they master the cooling measures, they will not die. Even if their shelters are well endowed, they can get very moisturized. But tonight's mysterious notice has made people all over the world realize the cruelty of the Doomsday Game again. All the people related to global militarization have entered another Doomsday copy world. They have to perform their duties as soldiers, experience the Doomsday War. Non-military survivors experience rounds of doomsday disasters on Earth. Survivors who are soldiers are constantly fighting doomsday battles outside the Earth. If there are casualties on both sides, it is real death, but if that's all, then both sides can only be said to be surviving in different doomsday environments. The mysterious existence eliminates technology and takes away soldiers, which may just be to increase the cruelty of the doomsday, but the bad thing is that this guy is trying to play with people's hearts. The two sides are in different worlds, but they can affect each other closely. The survivors on Earth can vote to decide the difficulty of the Doomsday War faced by their own soldiers. Do you want to be comfortable? Then let the soldiers of our country experience the most difficult Doomsday War. You will be rewarded with survival supplies immediately. The soldiers in the Doomsday copy won the war with great difficulty. Do you want to win the next victory and survive? Then let the survivors of our country give their supplies, plunder the people of our country, and strengthen their hope of survival. Of course, you can also choose not to oppress each other, as long as you can withstand the increasingly difficult survival pressure. Face more, bigger, and more oppressive life and death crises. This is the truth of the Doomsday Game. Sui murmured, and he felt his palms trembling a little. No one can completely control their own destiny, and can't be complacent because they have good talents, because both of us are affecting each other. The human heart is unpredictable. This is not only a test of all mankind from the external environment, but also a torture of everyone in the world. That it was not until this moment that Sui really understood. It turned out that the Doomsday Game had only been a relatively smooth opening for this week. What high-temperature crisis, what urban chaos, what rampant mobs, what resource shortages, these are just appetizers. They are not even the real Doomsday. It won't take long for humans to solve or adapt to them, and then return to a peaceful life. Is this the end of the world? No. The real Doomsday crisis has just begun. It is up to humans to decide the direction of the future and struggle between life and death. Betrayal or sacrifice, it is up to humans to decide. Chapter 35, Two-Way Rush in the End of the World. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Sui fell into silence for a long time. He has already understood that the end of the world has truly begun now. No one is immune, and no one can control their own destiny. This is a threat posed by human beings themselves, far greater than any natural disaster. I'm afraid there's nothing I can do, at least for now. All I can do is wait. Sui took a deep breath and opened the city chat channel that he hadn't opened for a long time. The city chat channel, which had been filled with all kinds of rescue information and desperate complaints, suddenly exploded. All the survivors in the city who were still alive heard the relevant notice just now and knew about the Doomsday War Dungeon. Fuck. I was just wondering why the soldiers were missing. It turns out they were all temporarily stored by that bitch. I struggled for a week, drank urine for a week. I ate moldy and rotten food for a week. I have been waiting for the country to rescue me, but now I am told that the country can't save me. What kind of doomsday are they going to forcefully fight? War. Hold it. I took advantage of the apocalypse to collect a lot of gold, jewelry, and banknotes, just waiting for the country to end the apocalypse, and then I will make money by buying the bottom. And now you are playing this trick with me. People in the city are desperate, and the first to collapse are the survivors who think that the apocalyptic era will soon subside. This is not to blame for the naivety of these people. After all, considering China's national conditions, what is the end of the world? Why are you joking here? My army enters the city and solves it in minutes. What natural and man-made disasters can't be settled? How can a nation that has survived for 5,000 years be defeated by this little difficulty? Do you really think it's a foreign country, just howling with a few zombies? A big flood will cause the whole country to collapse. It's not that we are too confident, it's just that these things are not difficult, but now it's better, and everyone is no longer confident. The mysterious existence seemed to have the ability to read minds. It seemed that it knew what the Chinese people's trump card was and directly took it away. Hey, you have no trump cards, just keep playing the Doomsday Game. Play without making a sound. The Chinese nation is a unique nation with a group of heroes protecting mortals. Now that the heroes have been kidnapped, only a group of mortals are left. Isn't this intentional to cause trouble? But if it was really that simple, it wouldn't be considered the beginning of the collapse of heaven. After all, new heroes can also be born among mortals. The mysterious existence seemed to have anticipated this in advance, and directly counterattacked with a mechanism of two worlds to survive the doomsday together. Soldiers are fighting doomsday wars in other worlds, while ordinary people are experiencing rotating doomsday disasters on Earth. This move is so sinister. It's going to take the heat out of the cauldron. Some survivors yelled in the chat channel, let them fight, why do they have to drag us into the water? This whole set of mechanisms looks complicated, but in fact there are only two words between the lines, infighting. It wants us to fight among ourselves. Let us vote for the most difficult war for the soldiers, and then let the soldiers continue to drain our resources to ensure the next victory. After this round of operations, if one party does not trust the other party, it will fall into the trap. Soldiers fight the most difficult war every day. We have nothing to eat or drink and wait to die. That even there were survivors who didn't quite understand the mechanism. After seeing the relevant explanations, they all realized the seriousness of the problem. This is not sowing discord between one or two people. The mysterious existence is playing tricks on all mankind. It forcibly divides human beings into two camps, and wants to send each other to hell with their own hands. What should we do? How can we vote later? The lowest difficulty. After all, don't forget that there is an erasure mechanism. If we lose, any of us may die. The highest difficulty. Believe in our soldiers. I want supplies. I'm going to die of fucking thirst. If you don't give me something to drink, I won't be able to wait until the day I am wiped out. Damn it, even the officials have been taken away. There is no leader. Who should we listen to? How about we compromise and choose a medium level of difficulty? Actually, I don't have much water left to drink. This discussion is nonsense. Now we don't even know how difficult it is to vote. Besides, it's not just one city that has the final say. There are so many places across the country. I have a premonition that I will die. That doomsday war doesn't sound easy. That thing didn't say when it would stop. Do we want to keep fighting forever? In this case, if they know they can't come back, will they give priority to ensuring that they can survive? That the entire chat channel was in chaos, people were discussing in a flurry, and some were trying to maintain order loudly, but to no avail. At this moment, only the presence of senior officials, soldiers and troops with special identities can deter chaos and make the people obey. Apart from that, no one of us obeys anyone, so why should we listen to you? Sui knew this very well. He just silently observed the chaos in the city expanding. Maybe, this is what the mysterious existence wants to see. Just a few words can plunge the survivors into chaos and create more despair about the future. It just wants to play with us. Sui sighed deeply. There were many survivors like him observing silently. No one knows what others are thinking, and no one is even sure whether the soldiers who were taken away still have consistent persistence and principles. After all, this is not an era of peace, nor is it an era of war between humans on Earth. This is the end. It's a cruel game that is completely controlled by a mysterious being. The voting phase begins now. Before the voting stage, release the guidance information from the country's apocalyptic war. The following is the specific content of the guidance message. A new prompt appeared in front of everyone, and a special red dialog box slowly appeared on the last line. That was a guidance message, only 10 simple words. Choose the highest difficulty. Believe in the People's Liberation Army. Just a moment, the whole city was silent, no one was making noises or complaining, everyone stared blankly at the line of words in front of them. It was just 10 words, but it made people's blood boil uncontrollably and made them feel sore and almost moved to tears. No shying away. No timidity. There is only firm persuasion, and we don't need to ask about the possible choices of victory or defeat. These 10 simple words can be engraved into the eyes of almost every Chinese survivor. Extremely hot. Is it because the higher the difficulty, the more survival supplies we get? Sui murmured. This was the only answer he could think of. There is no other reason than to save people. Although we are no longer on Earth, we still have to do our best to rescue people across the country. Because, sacrifice for the people, is the background of every Chinese soldier and the strongest foundation of the great faith. You guys are a bit too straightforward, Sui smiled bitterly. He raised his hand and touched some moisture on his cheek. But I was really touched. Sui took a deep breath and tried to calm himself down because he saw new prompt information appearing in front of him. The guidance information has been announced, and online voting will begin below. The difficulty selection for the first round of the Doomsday War of the country is as follows: single choice, F level, A level, D level, C level, B level, A level, S level. The difficulty increases in sequence. Starting from D-level difficulty, survivors in the country can obtain basic survival materials, and then the material rewards will be doubled for each difficulty level increased. The theme type of this country's Doomsday War, bloody battle. War scene, random city map environment in the country. Duration, 21 days. Victory conditions, annihilate all enemies. Conditions for defeat, our team is completely destroyed or time expires. The number of soldiers participating in the war is limited to 100,000. They do not carry any war equipment and must annihilate 10,000 crazy demons within a month. Crazy demon, a monster in the world of Doomsday War, humanoid, 3 meters tall, with twice the speed and strength of humans, and has the characteristics of rapid healing, disease infection, low-altitude flight, and advanced intelligence, biometrics. Starting from D-level difficulty, the number of crazy demons doubles every time the difficulty level increases. The highest level S is 160,000 crazy demons. Start voting below. The voting time is 1 hour. Failure to vote within the time limit will be deemed as selecting D-level difficulty. At the bottom of the latest information, there is also a picture of a madman. This is a red-skinned humanoid monster with a huge body and strong muscles. It is wearing heavy armor and holding a sharp cold weapon. Sui silently looked at the picture of the monster. He could simply analyze several key war intelligence. 1. Monsters wear armor and hold weapons, which means they have the intelligence to make and use tools, and their intelligence may be comparable to that of normal humans. 2. He is 3 meters tall, almost twice the height of a normal human being, and almost as tall as a story. He can completely crush human soldiers in terms of strength and speed. 3. When human soldiers enter the battlefield with bare hands and without weapons and equipment, it is almost impossible to defeat this kind of monster. Even 10 of them would be difficult to defeat. After all, monsters can fly. Even I can analyze it. I think they who are far away in the war dungeon world should also know how dangerous this guy is. Not to mention hunting 160,000 head, even if it is to hunt 1,000, it is almost extremely difficult. Sui took a deep breath and silently chose his voting choice, Class F, the lowest difficulty. It's not that I don't believe you, I don't want you to have a hard time. I don't need these material rewards. Sui looked at the F-level reward information prompt. Successfully selecting this difficulty will reduce the number of enemies to 50%, allowing humans to use corresponding weapons and equipment that do not exceed the number of participants in the battle. But at the same time, after winning a war of this difficulty, the war material rewards received by the survivors of the Earth's own country will be reduced to 20% of the basic rewards. This is the reason why Sui chose Class F. It can be analyzed from the information prompt that all kinds of military technological equipment on the Earth should have been forcibly taken away together with the soldiers, so these days, all that is sold in the market are pistols and the like. Even submachine guns and rifles are rarely seen, and there are not many grenades. If weapons such as tanks and airplanes also pass by, and bring them along, the probability of winning should be greater. However, it is estimated that not many people will choose this difficulty level. Sui smiled bitterly, knowing that he was doing useless work. The difficulty level of F level is simply unattractive. Not only does it not give any material rewards, but there is not much benefit even if you win. Now, there are few people like Sui who can have enough food and drink, and most of the survivors have not gotten rid of the basic needs of survival, lack of food, water, and heat resistance. This is the most deadly thing. Who can give up life-saving supplies at the critical moment of life and death, and give the hope of survival to the soldiers of their own country who are far away in other worlds and don't know whether they can come back? At least, I am worthy of my conscience. Sui closed the voting interface and sat silently in the dark night, waiting for the final voting result information. During this long time, Sui thought a lot. I can only help them with a small vote. Whether they can win or not, I have to ensure my own safety first. The Doomsday rotation mechanism has not disappeared, and now there is another Doomsday War mechanism. This means that I have to ensure that I survive the rotating Doomsday disasters, and I have to have good luck not to be on the list of random eliminations. Sui frowned, and he felt a lot of pressure at the moment. This is really difficult. I have to think of a way to at least ensure that I can survive first without the risk of dying. Sui was in deep thought when he was suddenly disturbed by the information in front of him. He looked up and saw that the voting results were out. Let me see, it should be D level. B level is actually possible. It can't really be S level, right? Sui looked up and was stunned. He saw the answer. Difficulty of the first round of the country's Doomsday War, F level. Chapter 36. Is this choice surprising? They are the people's soldiers. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Grass. Sui suddenly jumped up in shock. It's fucking F level. The Chinese people are so simple, that what are you doing? Now there are thugs everywhere out there doing evil things, and then Doomsday War voted for an F rating. No, what about the thugs? Don't you want supplies? Is it possible that you are doing evil things in the last days, but when the time comes when your family and country are in crisis, you all become righteous again? He is truly a Green Forest hero. Sui was a little confused. He feels that reality is a bit magical, or maybe his understanding of Chinese people seems a bit too one-sided. Not only Sui didn't understand, but people in the city chat channel also exploded. F level? No, didn't you just discuss voting for C? Didn't you say that we should get some survival supplies? Fuck. I was deceived. It turns out that I am the only one who voted for S-Class, and I am the only one who listens to the country the most. You all want to rebel. It's so funny, you don't fucking believe in the People's Liberation Army, do you? Backhand an F-level difficulty voting result, and the soldiers will be confused after seeing it. Brother Bing, I know the world is as old as the sky, but my family wants me to play on the lowest difficulty level. Oh, everyone just cried and said that they were going to die of thirst, and then this is the result. Would you rather die of thirst than vote for F level? You can't say that. I just looked at the specific number of votes. F level is only ahead by 83 votes, which is a slight advantage. The second place is B level difficulty. I will lose the B level material reward. So, you voted for B level? I remember you just said you were going to die of thirst. Are you B level or S level? I voted for F level, thank you. Anyway, I may not be able to live long with this miserable life, so let the soldiers live for a few more days. Fuck. Brother, report your location and I'll send you some supplies. The survivors on the city chat channel were all shouting in disbelief. At this moment, the shadow of the doomsday and the pain were a little removed. All survivors across the country are paying attention to the voting results, and some people even pulled out all the voting information data to take a closer look. First vote, F grade, second vote, Class B, third vote, D grade, fourth vote, S level. Only these four are far ahead in the number of votes. Class B and Class D are easy to understand. Although everyone feels sorry for the soldiers, they also want to get some supplies to solve their urgent needs. The S-class voting data is not difficult to explain. After all, this is what the country asked me to choose. I just trust the country without thinking. But the F-class vote ranked first, which was something that no one in the country expected. Maybe, there are many people who have the same idea as me. Sui murmured, with an uncontrollable smile on his lips, originally, I just wanted to give it a try and live up to my own conscience. But, my dear, everyone wants to live up to their conscience. The Chinese people are so awesome, they can even manipulate this kind of voting result. Sui had to admit that many people, including himself, did not really understand his own nation at all. That's why they create some miracles in reality that even their own people don't believe. Sui was very happy and had the urge to talk to others. Simply, Sui found Jiang Xiaozi and told her the complete story. With Jiang Xiaozi's intelligence, she quickly analyzed the reason. Sir, you don't need to be so surprised. The Chinese people have great wisdom hidden in their people since ancient times. What's more, modern people have early wisdom and naturally understand the principle of coexistence of man and earth. Regardless of whether there is hope for the army to return, just based on the mechanism of Doomsday War, treating soldiers preferentially means treating yourself preferentially. Let the soldiers win at the minimum cost. Once they win, they can exchange for the give operation and get survival materials. In order to ensure that the people are not angered, the military will make the next vote more difficult, so naturally they will not carry out the request operation. As long as the military and civilians have a certain basis of mutual trust, it will naturally be easy to form a situation of mutual support. Even if we are far apart, we can still look at each other and take care of each other. Jiang Xiaozi's analysis made sense, but Sui felt that the people might not think that complicated. By the way, Xiaozi, do you know the purpose of the Chinese People's Liberation Army? Sir, I've just arrived not long ago, so I don't know yet. Jiang Xiaozi was very modest. Are there details that I didn't understand? Is my analysis not quite correct? It's quite correct, but maybe people don't think about it that deeply. Sui touched his chin and suddenly smiled. The People's Liberation Army has the word people in front of it. This is the People's Army. It is the army's belief to protect the people's lives, safety and interests. Do you think that with such an army, ordinary people would be willing to fight such a brutal war? I see. Jiang Xiaozi was stunned and smiled softly. Probably, they are soldiers like Lin Yu. No, Lin Yu is a soldier like them. When Sui was about to continue saying something, a new prompt message suddenly appeared in front of him. Congratulations. The National Army decided to use the additional operational authority before the war and activated the Give module. All survivors in this country will soon receive random rewards from their own army. Congratulations. You have received a random reward, D-level water purifier. Grade D water purifier. It can convert undrinkable water into drinkable water and can purify up to 200 liters per day. As the prompt message appeared, a golden light flashed in front of Sui. When the golden light dissipated, a large water purification device about 1 meter high appeared in front of Sui. This water purification device is of a type that Sui has never seen before. It is obviously not a technology that humans already have. After all, the item information clearly states, it can purify but not drink water. There is no limit to the purification range of this thing. Maybe all water can be purified. It's amazing. Jiang Xiaozi blinked her beautiful eyes and exclaimed softly. She was surprised that items appeared out of thin air, while Sui was surprised that the country was so anxious to issue rewards. Before the first war, the armies of each country have the authority to request and give once either the people are asked to increase the winning rate of the war, or the people are given random survival material rewards. Obviously, the Chinese army chose give without hesitation, and it was so fast that it was carried out almost as soon as the voting results came out, for fear that some people would die in the doomsday disaster a little later. Water purifier, I'm so lucky. Sui touched this large device. There was an instruction manual posted next to the device, which recorded simple operation methods and precautions. Very good. Now that we have a greenhouse and a water purifier, we can really stay here forever. There is also a freezer that acts as an air conditioner and provides ice water for cooling. The shelter's armed capabilities are not weak, and Leah, a research madman, can continuously improve the shelter's building defense coefficient. What else do I lack now? Maybe, I really just lack some entertainment facilities. Sui pondered, tomorrow's reward won't really provide me with some entertainment facilities to fill my spiritual needs, right? Sui opened the city chat channel. Everyone was exchanging surprises about the random rewards issued by the country. Look! The miraculous bread tree. 6 pieces of bread are born steadily every day. Eating 3 pieces of bread will fill the nutritional and hydration needs for the day. I am praising the People's Liberation Army as I spiral into the sky. Do you have a crane like mine? A passive air conditioner. No need to plug in, just turn it on and use it for heating and cooling. It can also activate hibernation mode to reduce the body's energy consumption, and it will not enter a true hibernation state. Ah! Am I the unluckiest? What I got is a fucking weapon, a laser dagger that doesn't need to be charged. What do I need it for? Give me more food. I took a look around and roughly analyzed it. It seems that the rewards we received are all the parts we are in urgent need of, right? The mechanism is quite reasonable, not too troublesome, and this mysterious existence is quite particular. You are all surprised one by one, just like idiots who have never seen the world. Isn't this what it should be? Who are they? They are soldiers of the people. They will 100% choose the give operation without any brain. This will be the case in the future. No need to think about it. Ah. What do you mean? Are there still these rewards in the future? It's obviously the end of the world, but I still have to be protected by the People's Liberation Army every day. This. I feel like a happy little waste. To be honest, I still hope they come back. The world is still very chaotic. I don't dare to go out casually. I see corpses outside every day, ugh. The chat channel was full of surprises and discussions about their respective rewards, and many people posted their own reward content as if to show off. This scene has quite the atmosphere of a game where everyone is competing to see who is the most European after 10 draws in a row. Of course, everyone also knows who gave them the confidence to be happy. With this wave of support, it is estimated that the number of deaths among survivors nationwide will drop sharply tomorrow. Sui murmured, looking at the overall situation. The give operation is indeed very effective, directly satisfying everyone's most urgently needed survival resources. This reward sounds a bit like my talent, but I can get the reward every day, and the others can only wait for the soldiers to win the battle. Sui analyzed while looking at the dialogue information box in front of him. The operation is over, the Doomsday War has begun. Survivors can check the general direction of the current war in their country in real time through the sheltered data version at any time. They can also spend additional survival points to learn more detailed war situation content. The Doomsday War has begun. I don't know what the situation is like over there, or whether the soldiers are sure of winning against that group of crazy-looking monster creatures. Sui was unsure. He trusted the people's soldiers, but humans didn't understand mad demons, and any accident was possible in the First War. But compared to the outcome of the war situation, Sui felt that the 2 lines of information in front of him seemed to have a deeper meaning. Since we can see the general direction of the war without spending points, why do we still emphasize that we can spend points to understand more detailed war situations? This thing should be fine. It's useless for us to know more detailed war situations. It won't affect the direction of the war. Sui murmured, and suddenly an idea flashed in his mind. So far, the hints given by the mysterious existence are basically all nonsense. It is impossible for it to deliberately add a mechanism that seems useless. Think about it, is this message really that simple? It doesn't mean that the survivors on Earth can actually influence the situation of the Doomsday War by spending points. Chapter 37, All-Night Fire Coverage. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Sir, what are you thinking about? Zhang Xiaozi raised her head and looked at Sui, who was thinking about something blankly. She asked curiously, is there any problem with this machine? Zhang Xiaozi has figured out the function and use of the machine. She doesn't understand why Sui hasn't ordered her to install and use this machine. This big guy can provide the most stable drinking water guarantee for the shelter. I'm just thinking about one thing. a possibility that has not yet appeared. Sui took a deep breath and told Jiang Xiaozi the information prompt and his own guess. Do you think my guess is possible? I hope readers will remember our domain name Taiwan Novel Network. Mr. S guess is correct, this is bound to happen. Jiang Xiaozi did not think, but made a judgment in an instant and pointed out the key. As you said, the mysterious existence did not have any extra actions and behaviors, which means that there must be reasons for the irrationality of its actions. I was thinking before, if it really wants to test humans in terms of the mechanism of the Doomsday War, it should not just give a cruel choice. Simply sowing discord and oppression is not a test. At the same time, giving more opportunities and choices are more in line with the mentality of those in high positions, and can show absolute control. I can't understand what level it is at, and how powerful it is. I just think, if I were facing a group of ants and I wanted to test them, it would definitely give them a way out. If I just want to kill a group of ants, I can just pour a pot of boiling water. Why bother? Jiang Xiaozi paused and smiled, so Mr. S guess is completely correct. Although we don't know when this new mechanism will appear, we can almost be sure that we will definitely have the possibility of affecting the Doomsday War. Of course, this influence can not only support our army, but also not rule out that someone will weaken their combat power. I think this is fairness under more choices, and the real confrontation between good and evil in human nature. Jiang Xiaozi's approval made Sui breathe a sigh of relief. It seems that I am not overthinking. Smart people also think so it is probably true. If that's the case, other smart people will definitely think of this. Once more and more people know this, the role of survival points will be greater. Whether it's to help the soldiers or to weaken the soldiers, everyone with their own ideas will try their best to get more survival points. Sui murmured, Xiaozi, then we have to move quickly. We have to keep up with the pace and find ways to get more points. Getting more survival points can not only improve the living conditions of the shelter, but also affect the soldiers in the Doomsday War. Sui attaches more importance to the latter. At this stage, he no longer has any urgent survival pressure. The only thing that can directly threaten Sui's life is the random elimination that may occur after the failure of the Doomsday War. Although the soldiers are unlikely to make this choice, since this punishment mechanism has appeared, it is not necessarily that mandatory elimination punishment will not appear. Don't be afraid of 10,000, just be afraid of one. What if the soldiers lose several games in a row in the future and come up with some kind of forced elimination, and I happen to be unlucky enough to encounter it? Then I won't stop here. Sir, you are right. Jiang Xiaozi nodded and asked, should I let Lin Yu continue to explore for supplies? Exploring for supplies is secondary, and the survival points reward after the exploration mission is the key. No, wait a little longer, the 10 points and 20 points are not bad. Sui waved his hand. Whether it is to build a shelter or to support the Doomsday War, the points required will definitely not be too low. Ordinary means are not enough, we have to use extraordinary means. Sui's eyes flashed with a strange light, and at this moment, he had some subtle changes in his mind. Jiang Xiaozi was very considerate. She felt the slight change from Sui's heart, and she couldn't help but lower her head and said a word. Little White Bear Shelter. Sui was silent and didn't speak. After a while, he raised his eyebrows and said, do you want me to learn from the Little White Bear Shelter? No. Jiang Xiaozi shook her head and smiled. Sir, you told me that the Little White Bear Shelter has the most survival points in the city, and destroying the shelter can directly inherit the other party's unused points. So, sir, why don't you get rid of the harm for the people? Late at night, Sui lay on the bed, staring out the window with bright eyes in the dark. Beside him was Jiang Xiaozi, who had already fallen asleep sweetly. After arranging the water purifier and night watch, she naturally lay down next to Sui and slept with him. Neither of them refused this matter, as if it had become the tacit content of the night for this couple. Sui could feel the delicate body beside him, still warm and naked, but Sui still had no distractions and had no intention of falling asleep. He was thinking about the advice Jiang Xiaozi gave him. I don't mind taking the initiative to punish the evil, but I only have one Lin Yu now. Sui was calculating silently in his heart. No matter how he thought, He didn't think that Lin Yu could solve the little white bear shelter by himself. He was the top brother on the list, so his talent and ability must be good. Sui even suspected that the other party's talent might be much stronger than his own, otherwise how could he destroy so many shelters in just a few days? It was impossible for Lin Yu to defeat the other party alone, but Jiang Xiaozi's proposal could not be completely ignored. After all, the two sides had already made a feud. Even if the other party couldn't find Sui now, it didn't mean that he couldn't find him in the future. I have to take advantage of the fact that I am still in the dark and get rid of the other party as soon as possible. It would be really stupid to wait for the other party to come to me for revenge. But if I want to quickly improve the combat effectiveness of the shelter, the best way is to use my talent. How can I use it effectively so that the talent reward can always show the type of reward I want? Sui pondered. The talent reward is what I need most at the moment. But the current combat effectiveness of the shelter is not too bad for a level 1 shelter, so it is no longer an urgent need, right? But can I adjust it? Although the combat effectiveness is not an urgent need, if we increase the amount of food, water and other resources to a level higher than the combat effectiveness level, will it make the shelter's combat effectiveness insufficient? Does the most urgent need of the talent reward follow the wooden barrel theory? Unconsciously, Sui thought about it all night. When he came to his senses, it was already dawn, and he realized that he had not slept all night, and he was overwhelmed by sleepiness. Take a break. It's not something that can be mastered in a day or two to study the talent mechanism. Sui fell asleep in drowsiness. He felt as if he had just closed his eyes when he heard Jiang Xiaozi gently waking him up in his ear. Sir, it's time to get up. It's past 11 o'clock in the morning. Sui opened his eyes tiredly and rubbed his headache. Jiang Xiaozi asked gently, Sir, didn't you sleep well last night? Well, I thought about it all night. Sui sighed. Xiaozi, you said, how can we improve the combat effectiveness of the shelter? Accumulate a self-circulating material supply system, develop more population, train the army from it, and research weapons and equipment. Jiang Xiaozi gave the answer almost without hesitation. Build an army loyal to you, naturally fearless of any threat. Build an army? Sui was stunned. He looked at Jiang Xiaozi and suddenly asked, have you been planning this? Including persuading me to accept those women, is it for this purpose? Sir. Jiang Xiaozi did not in rebuttal, she just lowered her head and explained softly, compared to men, I understand women better, and I am more confident in training them. I am more and more curious about what you did before. You can even train female soldiers? Sui looked Jiang Xiaozi up and down and asked tentatively, can you tell me? If my question is not offensive. Director of the Special Forces Training Base. Jiang Xiaozi did not hide it, and even explained it in detail for Sui. This position probably means the identity of a special soldier trainer during the anti-Japanese war in this world. At the same time, it will also be responsible for the secret missions of the trainers and exist as their superiors. Secret mission. Damn, underground organization. Lurker. Spy. Sui's eyes widened. You can train spies. Well. I guess so. Jiang Xiaozi smiled and nodded. No wonder this woman is an A-level talent, no wonder she tried her best to persuade him to accept that group of women. It turns out that she has this ability. Good at management, superb wisdom, training spies. This woman is a bit all-round. Sui was very surprised, but soon he realized that this could not solve his current dilemma. Xiaozi, you are really great, but, well, what I need is to quickly improve the combat effectiveness of the shelter. Your way is only suitable for long-term development. If we encounter danger in the short term, we can only rely on Lin Yu. Sui knew very well that no matter how powerful Jiang Xiaozi was, it was impossible to quickly transform those women into warriors. This requires a process. Jiang Xiaozi also understood that. She lowered her head and whispered, Sir, before that, I will do my best to ensure the safety of the shelter and will not let us go to a desperate situation. Things are unpredictable, let's eat first. Sui sat at the table and was about to start eating when he suddenly remembered the Doomsday War. One night has passed, and I don't know how the first battle of the soldiers went. How should I check the battle situation? Oh, right, here. Sui found the battle situation module through the shelter interface. After selecting it, several information prompts appeared in front of Sui. At midnight tonight, the first Doomsday War began, and the country's army entered. At 1:30 a.m., the Chinese army mastered the battlefield city information and sent out scouts to collect enemy intelligence. At 1:30 a.m., the first large-scale encounter occurred. The Chinese army completed the strategic deployment at the expense of 569 drones and lured the enemy into an ambush. At 1:40 a.m., the first round of artillery bombardment began. The H-6 carried out the mission and perfectly completed the war goal, destroying the city buildings and burying 525 demons. At 2:10 a.m., 18 J-20s were dispatched to suppress the low-altitude flight capability of the demons and destroy the enemy's intention to rush out of the city ruins. At 2:30 a.m., the Dongfeng 15 began cluster bombing, which lasted for 2 hours. At 4:30 a.m., the drone entered the ruins and confirmed that a total of 506 enemy bodies were killed, and it was suspected that some remnants escaped. At 5:26 a.m., the headquarters confirmed the battle situation of another heavy-armored combined brigade, successfully delaying more than 200 demons, and the other party was suspected to be a demon scout. At the same time, a large-scale demon activity target was found, suspected to be ambushing and supporting activities in the wild. At 5:40 a.m., the headquarters activated the Guardian 2D long-range rocket launcher to carry out full coverage and saturation strikes on the large-scale demon activity area. At 6:20 a.m., the artillery bombardment stopped, and the results of the battle could not be confirmed. The second round of drone luring enemy operations began, and the luring of the enemy failed. At 7:50 in the morning, the battlefield entered a silent period. Sui read through the messages one by one, his mouth opened wide unconsciously. You guys have been firing all night? Chapter 38 Good Luck Boost. 10 consecutive gold draws. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Sui was shocked. What about our family's tradition of excellent quality, and what about the unparalleled light infantry we promised? How did the great powers' war strategy begin? As soon as they entered the scene, they were bombarded with artillery fire for most of the night. The Air Force and infantry were bombing together. Even the scouts used drones. Are they really not sending out any living people and letting the madmen play games with artillery fire? Although the war narrative is very brief, every Chinese has a good sense of war and basic analysis capabilities. When Sui saw it, he understood. The headquarters didn't want to hide from the mad demon, so it had no intention of engaging in hand-to-hand combat with the mad demon, directly use long-range artillery fire to explode, over and over again, and then use the drone to check the situation after the explosion. If there is no way to confirm the result, then don't confirm it. Anyway, when you find an enemy, it's just one word: explode. Human. Impossible. Crazy demons don't want to see any human beings. In a battle of this difficulty, if we don't fight a good fight, we will be disrespectful to the love of the people across the country. Yesterday, I thought this mad monster was difficult to deal with. It has self-healing, disease infection, low-altitude flying and so on. Now it seems that it is not difficult to fight. Sui scratched his hair, and he suddenly realized the meaning of the sentence in the F-level difficulty. Humans are allowed to use corresponding weapons and equipment that do not exceed the number of participants in the battle. In China, 100,000 soldiers are the number of people in a group army. Under this organization, there are no weapons in the country that fall within this organization system. As long as the rules allow it, even nuclear bombs can theoretically be brought in. No. Sui had serious suspicions that with the frequency of artillery fire by the disciples, the nuclear bomb might have been brought in, but it had not been used yet. I continued to look at the war information, but found that there were no updates. It's almost 12 noon now. How long does the silent period last? Sui thought about it and murmured, no. You don't plan to have a big one all at once, right? Hello. This is a 21-day war, so there is plenty of time. There's no need to make such a quick decision. Based on F-level difficulty, the enemy is 5,000 crazy demons. But judging from the bombing damage in the early morning hours, the losses of the mad demons are conservatively estimated to be more than 1,000, right? If we keep going at this rate, it won't be over in a few days. Sui touched his chin and murmured, if the battle ends early, will there be any extra rewards? The war lasts for 21 days, then are there any other arrangements for the remaining time? Will there be arrangements for disciples? Let's go home and take a look. Really, the Earth needs them, at least China needs it. There is no one in charge of the whole country. It is really chaotic. Sui opened a city chat channel while eating. Today, everyone has not posted many desperate complaints. Most of them are excitedly discussing the fighting situation of their country in the Doomsday War. Perhaps because of yesterday's batch of national material support, everyone basically has nothing to worry about. Everyone is very active today. I just said that I have contacted several dealers in the police station, but I haven't seen any more lethal weapons. They are all in the hands of the soldiers. What kind of trafficker in the police station? It's true, but it's also true. I guess even the police have gone to the Doomsday War Dungeon, otherwise it would be the turn of some young people to occupy the police station. Who is the kid? Who the hell are you calling the kid? Do you dare to give me your position? Should I say it, it's really fun to read this battle report. I was worried all night last night, thinking that the fight would be very difficult, but I didn't expect this. Very good, I'm really starting to criticize aliens. By the way, crazy demons are also considered aliens, right? I don't even have the time to go out to look for food now, so I keep refreshing the battle report. There has been no movement this morning, so I'm a little anxious. I think you're not worried about the soldiers, but you're worried about the country winning and giving out rewards to all the people, right? That the confusion of the other survivors is also Suyi's confusion. Everyone has some vague guesses in their hearts. According to the consistent style of Chinese officials, they either hold back and remain silent, or if they do, they will make a huge noise. Just as Suyi was thinking about what the country planned to do, a new reminder message suddenly appeared in front of him. It was that today's talent rewards were issued. Congratulations. Trigger talent rewards and obtain combat talent lottery tickets, within 10. Combat talent lottery ticket, D-level special entertainment items, consumables. After use, the shelter can obtain a random number of D-level combat talents from 1 to 10. What the hell? Suyi's eyes widened, and the surprise in his heart could not be greater. Is it really just what I want? Is there a combat talent reward today? What a surprise! According to the C-level standard of talent experience after upgrade, although the D-level reward is a bit lower, this thing is a special reward. If you are lucky and draw a combat talent higher than 1 D-level, you will make a profit. With a flash of golden light, a purple lottery ticket appeared in Suyi's hand. Suyi observed it for a moment, and just as he was excitedly preparing to use it, an idea suddenly flashed in his mind. Wait, by the way, there is no mechanism in Doomsday Games that emphasizes that talents are not allowed to use props under the shelter system, right? After all, these are things that belong to the Doomsday Game mechanism. If talents can be used to use this scroll, why not let Lin Yu use it? Sui repeatedly checked the information on this item and confirmed that there were no instructions prohibiting talents from using it. Just try it, if it works. If Lin Yu can use it, wouldn't this be her good luck buff? Sui stood up suddenly, walked out of the door and called Lin Yu. Chief, Lin Yu responded quickly and ran downstairs in a hurry. I'm training those girls, do you have anything to do with me? Military training arranged so quickly? Jiang Xiaozi is so efficient. There is something very important. Sui handed over the lottery ticket in his hand and asked seriously, see if you can use this thing. Use? Lin Yu carefully looked at the lottery ticket in his hand, turned it over, and raised his head in confusion. Chief, how do I use it? What do I need to do? Broken. Talents cannot see the data information of the item and cannot see the use operation button. It's over. It seems that I can no longer enjoy Lin Yu's good luck buff. Sui sighed. Just when he was about to take the lottery ticket back, he saw Lin Yu thinking about it and waved the lottery ticket tentatively. Use it? Bang! That the lottery ticket suddenly exploded with a golden light, startling Lin Yu, and quickly stood in front of Su-Yi with a gun. Su-Yi, on the other hand, widened his eyes and watched as the golden light quickly condensed into 10 golden humanoid shapes around him. Grass. It's done. It really works. This thing can actually be triggered by voice control. Su-Yi was pleasantly surprised. He pressed Lin Yu's shoulders and motioned her to put away the gun. Then, Su-Yi looked at Jin Guang, with obvious excitement in his eyes. Lin Yu's good luck effect really worked. The 10 humanoid golden lights dissipated in the blink of an eye, revealing 10 tall and strong men. Without exception, they all wore modern military equipment, camouflage uniforms, and were equipped with basic weapons and combat tools. Comrade, Lin Yu frowned. She saw that these people were Chinese soldiers just like her, but she didn't recognize them. When the golden light completely dissipated, 10 soldiers had already filled the small room. As if they had expected it, they all looked at Su-Yi and stood at attention to salute. Hello, Chief, the male soldiers roared in unison. The sound was amazing, and each soldier exuded a fierce aura. Just by looking at them, you can tell that their fighting will is very strong. Chapter 39. This woman is worthy of being the head of the Secret Service. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Okay, hello. Su-Yi laughed so hard that he could hardly close his mouth. Damn it, 10 D-class soldiers. Earn money with blood. You must know that when Lin Yu was still in D-level, his combat prowess was like that of Superman, with impeccable combat skills. The 10 warriors in front of us now, it is impossible to be inferior to Lin Yu back then, right? Remember the domain name of this website, Taiwan Novel Network. If used properly, these 10 people plus Lin Yu can almost crush most of the gangs in the current Doomsday situation. As long as the enemy doesn't have 2 abnormal shelter talents, Su-Yi can hardly think of any ordinary people who can be the opponent of so many Chinese soldiers. Lin Yu, good job. Su-Yi patted Lin Yu's shoulder, with relief and appreciation in his eyes. Serving the chief is what I should do. Lin Yu responded respectfully, while looking at the group of male soldiers curiously. The male soldiers stared intently, with only Su-Yi in their eyes. They stood still like sculptures, waiting for Su-Yi's orders. At this time, Su-Yi was opening the shelter panel to check the data information of the male soldiers. Name, Lu Roy, age, 25 years old, type, soldier, sniper, talent level, D-level, physical strength, 105. Neural response, 110. Endurance, 108. Spiritual will, 112. Self-healing immunity, 107. Talent characteristics, concealed action, he is good at concealing himself in complex environments. He can lurk in any complex terrain and carry out precise strikes against long-distance enemies. Talents, accurate shooting. After a long period of military training, his shooting accuracy is extremely high, and he almost hits the mark with every shot. Name, Zhang Yi, age, 24 years old, type, soldier, scout, talent level, D-level, physical strength, 102. Neural response, 115. Endurance, 105. Spiritual will, 110. Self-healing immunity, 106. Talent characteristics, high-speed endurance, his endurance is very long-lasting, he has plenty of physical strength, and he is good at moving quickly and crossing various terrains. Talents, enemy detection, he has extremely keen perception of any enemy units and can distinguish most lurking and camouflaged enemy units. Name, Li Yang, age, 25 years old, type, soldier, signal corps, talent level, D-level, physical strength, 103. Neural response, 109. Endurance, 106. Spiritual will, 113. Self-healing immunity, 109. Talent characteristics, technical support, he is good at using various communication equipment and technical means, has a detailed understanding of the field of military communications, and can establish and maintain basic military communications in harsh environments. Talents, quick coding, he has excellent coding ability and information ability, and can complete complex communication cracking and encryption operations in a short time. Su-Yi. roughly checked the information of the 10 soldiers and was surprised to find that they all had their own military classifications. When Sui recruited Lin Yu only had the profession of soldier, and there was no clear distinction between military branches, but these 10 soldiers are different. Among them are snipers, scouts, communicators, assaulters, armored troops, aviation troops, air defense troops, etc. It can almost be said that the categories are very complete, covering most common military classifications. Together, these 10 people can almost form a fully functional combat team that can perform very comprehensive military actions. This is not just a simple 10 soldiers, this is a fucking military combat team. The main thing is cooperation. Sui took a breath. He felt that his good luck this time was a bit exaggerated. It was so exaggerated that Sui felt that he seemed to have lost a little bit of his life. Of course, these 10 soldiers also have their flaws, that is, the weapons and equipment they carry are very basic, with only different types of pistols and basic military props adapted to their own arms. For example, snipers bring extra camouflage paint, scouts bring extra military binoculars, and communications soldiers bring extra handheld walkie-talkies. There are not many items, and it cannot be said that they are useless at all, but they are indeed not the core equipment of their respective arms. For example, a sniper doesn't have a sniper rifle. He just has a small pistol. Neither did the Signal Corps' radio, nor did the Scouts' drone. There is no core equipment. These 10 people are all simplified versions. It's okay, as long as there are people, we can take care of these things later. Sui comforted himself. These are D-class soldiers, what else can they ask for? If they really arrive fully armed, then they probably won't be rated D. Weapons and equipment can also affect the combat effectiveness of combat talents. You have just arrived, so you may not be familiar with the situation yet. But I know, you should know who I am and where this is. Sui took a deep breath, looked at the soldiers, and raised his hand to point at Lin Yu beside him. Her name is Lin Yu, the first soldier of the shelter, and she will be your team leader in the future. Chief. Lin Yu was stunned and spoke in surprise, but was stopped by Sui. You 10 people have a full range of arms, just enough to form a combat team. Lin Yu will be your team leader, first to lead you to defend the shelter, and second to guide you to get familiar with the environment here faster. Do you have any objections? Sui asked more, and sure enough, he heard the soldiers roaring in unison. Yes, Chief. We have no objection. Very good, this is a Chinese soldier. Absolutely obey orders. Sui was very satisfied. He waved his hand. Lin Yu, take them out to find Jiang Xiaozi. There is still time today, and Jiang Xiaozi should arrange some exploration tasks for them. With Jiang Xiaozi's temper, she would definitely not sit idly by and watch so many soldiers idle at home, and with her intelligence, she can definitely arrange the tasks of these soldiers better. After all, this woman used to work in the underground party and specializes in assigning tasks to agents. Yes, Chief. Lin Yu saluted, and then waved to the soldiers. Follow me, I will introduce Jiang Xiaozi to you. Team leader, can you ask, what does Jiang Xiaozi do? Scout Zhang Yi looked lively. While following behind Lin Yu, he asked carefully, is she a woman? Is she easy to get along with? Quite easy to get along with. As for what does she do? Lin Yu frowned. There is really no job arrangement in the shelter now. Everyone's work is basically finalized by Sui, and Sui has delegated this power to Jiang Xiaozi, if it is converted to the military system by analogy. Lin Yu pondered. She is probably equivalent to our political commissar. Political commissar. The expressions of the male soldiers suddenly became serious, and a faint sense of respect suddenly emerged in their hearts. This word has a different meaning for soldiers. The fine traditional style of Chinese soldiers is completely inseparable from the grassroots work of the political commissars, and even more inseparable from their personal example. Today I was rewarded with 10 combat talents, but they lacked their own equipment. Should I give them equipment rewards tomorrow? Sui pondered happily. He came to the window and looked down. After a while, he saw Jiang Xiaozi leading 9 soldiers and Lin Yu out of the building. She stood in front of the building and gave the soldiers the final instructions and reminders, and then watched Lin Yu and the 9 soldiers leave. Not bad, there is a soldier left to watch the house. Xiaozi is indeed cautious. Sui nodded with satisfaction, looking at the soldiers going away. The one who stayed behind seems to be the signalman Li Yang. It is a reasonable arrangement. After all, he only has a walkie-talkie and can't play the role of a signalman at present. He can only be used as an ordinary soldier. By the way, Lin Yu set out with them, a total of 10 people, should have completed all 3 dispatch tasks today. Hey! Wait, that's not right. Sui suddenly woke up. There are only 3 dispatch tasks every day, and it is enough to arrange at most 3 people. It seems that there is no use to arrange more, right? Then why did Xiaozi send out 10 people at once? Sui hurriedly opened the panel of the shelter to check the dispatch task status of the shelter. He suddenly found that today's 3 dispatch tasks were still in the state of on standby, and Jiang Xiaozi did not send anyone to perform the exploration mission at all. 10 soldiers who can form close combat cooperation with each other. If they are not going out to explore for supplies, could it be that they are going out to hiss? Sui's eyes widened, and an amazing guess popped up in his mind. They are going to kill people. Destroying the shelter will get survival points. Xiaozi will definitely not look down on the small points of the dispatch mission. She wants to get more points for me. Fuck. This woman is really worthy of being the head of the Secret Service. She wants to send soldiers to kill people as soon as she gets the military power. Chapter 40. You call this intensity? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Sui was just guessing and was not sure. Just as he was about to call Jiang Xiaozi to ask, he heard her footsteps going upstairs. Taiwan Novel Network. After a while, Jiang Xiaozi pushed the door open. Sir. Jiang Xiaozi's gentle voice sounded behind Sui, and Sui turned around and pointed out the window. He remained silent, but the smart Jiang Xiaozi knew what he was going to ask and took the initiative to say, I have assigned tasks to the new soldiers. At first, when Lin Yu came to me, I did want to assign the soldiers to perform the task of collecting supplies. But considering the worries of the gentleman and the lack of points in the shelter, so. Jiang Xiaozi paused, lowered his head and said, I gave them new combat tasks and asked them to collect more survival points. Jiang Xiaozi said it very tactfully, and did not directly say things like killing people and destroying shelters, because she knew that Sui was a man with good intentions. Should it be, it won't be killing innocent people. Sui raised his eyebrows and soon got a satisfactory answer. Jiang Xiaozi shook his head, I won't give such an order. I also need to take care of the soldiers' personal emotions and beliefs. I asked them to find the rioters and pay special attention to collecting intelligence information related to the Little White Bear shelter. If they find the thugs, they will pursue them appropriately. They have the right to decide whether to kill and destroy the shelter. Of course, their main mission goal is still to collect more points for the gentleman. Jiang Xiaozi gave the soldiers a lot of autonomy, which made Sui very satisfied. Actually, if you want to kill innocent people, I can understand. After all, I am really short of points now. Sui turned his head to look out the window and suddenly said, I will not blame you. You are my person. I will naturally be responsible for what you do. Sir. Jiang Xiaozi raised her head in surprise. She frowned slightly, I know you are not such a person. So, I am trying to change. Sui turned his head and looked at her cute frowning appearance. He couldn't help but smile. Leah told me that in such a cruel era, as a leader, I should learn to adapt. She said that leaders should learn to be cruel by nature, even if they make orders that violate their principles. I think Leah is right. Sui said it seriously. He really thought so. He has a kind heart, but he can't be kind for no reason. He must ensure the safety of himself and the shelter. If kindness and safety conflict, Sui will choose safety, without hesitation. Okay, sir. Jiang Xiaozi was silent for a moment, and said softly, actually, you can trust me. Sui turned his back to her, trust you what? Trust me, I won't let these cruel choices appear in front of you. Jiang Xiaozi's voice was soft, her eyebrows were lowered and her eyes were pleasant, but her tone was firm. They will never appear on your desk, and will not cause trouble to you. A silent atmosphere floated in the air. After a moment, Sui smiled and broke the silence. Well, that's good. Xiaozi, go and get busy. Yes, sir. Jiang Xiaozi saluted respectfully, turned around and left, but stopped temporarily. She looked back at Sui's back. Sir, I'm serious, I will protect you, not just your personal safety. Really? Sui just turned around and was about to speak, but found that Jiang Xiaozi had already gone downstairs. Well. Sui touched his chin and suddenly laughed out loud. A woman solemnly promised to protect me. Am I considered a gigolo? But you don't say. This feeling is actually quite good. 10 soldiers set out, but unfortunately Sui had no means of remote communication and was still unclear about the details of their mission. All Sui could do now was to wait for the results. While waiting in boredom, Sui had begun to try to make some self-training plans in the room. At the same time, Sui secretly swore in his heart for the 100th time, the first thing to do after collecting points is to light up the technology tree project and restore the power system of the shelter. I must. Absolutely. Play computer games all night long. No one can stop me. Facts have proved that it is not so easy to be an outstanding leader. At least you have to be able to endure loneliness and boredom, and be able to keep a cool head in any boring environment, and the way Sui keeps a cool head now is very simple: sleep. The most thing Sui does every day now is sleep. He found that since the beginning of the Doomsday, his sleep time has increased linearly, which is a bit weird. He has no symptoms of physical discomfort, nor is he injured and needs to rest, nor is he tired and sleepy. He just suddenly became very sleepy. If his physical fitness had not improved significantly, Sui would even doubt whether he had awakened a new talent. When Sui opened his eyes again, it was already dark outside the window. He slept until the night again. Jiang Xiaozi was not around, which meant that it should have just entered the night. Just as Sui lazily got up from the bed and wanted to look up at the time on the wall clock, he suddenly noticed a series of dense information prompts in front of him. Congratulations. The country's first war is over. State of war. Great victory. War evaluation, total annihilation without damage, perfect score. The country wins the war, and now the victory rewards for the survivors of the country are given out based on the difficulty of the war. Congratulations. Obtained the F-level consumable little huanghua. Small huanghua, a yellow juicy fruit that can meet the human body's daily food and drinking needs. The country's army has won 3 battles in total in the last round of war. The country's army has activated the right to win the war and conducted 3 nationwide give operations. Congratulations. Obtained F-level consumable small yellow fruit, obtained F-level weapon beautiful knife, and obtained F-level special props 10 survival points. Ouch, the battle is really over in one day. Sui suddenly woke up and quickly got up to check the information, only to find that although his country won the war, the reward was very low. In the end, the victory rewards and campaign rewards were squeezed together, with a total of 4 rewards, which together were not as valuable as Sui's 10 bottles of ice water every day. TSK, but at least we won, and no one died. Sui smacked his lips, but he didn't feel disappointed at all. Anyway, these things were paid for free. Soldiers are out fighting life and death, so we can't still complain that the material rewards we get are not enough, right? In short, as long as you can win. Even if there is no reward, we must ensure that the national army can win. After all, survivors across the country cannot bear the price of losing. Sui opened the information record of the combat module, checked the general war process, and found that in the evening the army had figured out the information about the distribution of the remaining mad demons in the morning. Then human soldiers were sent to personally act as bait under the cover of drones, leading them into the encirclement of the tank group, and then, there was no more. Although the mad demon has twice the physical fitness of a human being, it is still not enough to stand up to the dual steel torrents of land and air. 100,000 fully armed soldiers can be easily crushed with just a few pieces of equipment, and they don't even need any complicated tactical arrangements. There is no doubt about their victory. Perhaps it was because the soldiers won too easily. Many survivors reviewed the direction of the war and discussed it on the chat channel. They all agreed that it was time to increase the strength of the soldiers. This is not even close to the intensity of normal military exercises. The confrontation between the red and blue armies is even more intense than this. F level is really boring. Let's vote on a higher level of difficulty next time. We must let the soldiers experience the horror of the Doomsday War. Yes, I support it. I also need more material rewards. Such an F-level reward is like sending a beggar away. Who cares? Sui browsed the chat channel and found that everyone was shouting fiercely. Everyone had an extremely heated discussion and all arrogantly decided to increase the difficulty of the next round of Doomsday War by 1 level. From F level to E level. Teach the young soldiers a lesson. Sui was dumbfounded. Isn't this called strength? You're shouting fierce, and you're going to raise it 1 level at a time, right? You don't even dare to let them jump to the challenge. You are really down to earth. Sui was happy to see it. It seems that not only do everyone feel sorry for the young soldiers, but they are also afraid of the random erasure punishment for losing the war. But having said that, the first round of the battle lasted for 21 days. Now that we have completed the battle in 1 day, how will we use the rest of the time? Sui pondered. Will these soldiers go home? I guess it's unlikely. So what will the soldiers do in these 20 days? What space will they be in? This is not just Sui's doubt, most domestic survivors have this problem, but soon, new prompt information appeared, which solved Sui's doubts. Global announcement. A country has completed the first round of Doomsday War, and the Doomsday War-related ranking list has been opened. Congratulations to the players from this country. Our country's army is the first in the world to complete the Doomsday War and has received the achievement reward, reproduction of the designated type of domestic military-industrial system. After the end of the current Doomsday War, participants in the war will not be able to return to Earth for the time being. They will be in a replica world similar to Earth, but without any available technology, only basic city templates, waiting for the next war. Well, I really can't come back. Sui sighed, but fortunately, the soldiers still have 20 days to rest, and the resting place is similar to the Earth's environment. In addition to having no technology available like the survivors, the conditions are even better, at least there is no high temperature and harsh environment. It doesn't matter if you rest for 20 days, you will have enough time to think about how to fight the next battle. Sui murmured. He opened the Doomsday War rankings and took a look, and found that, Doomsday War Winners List, and, Doomsday War Completion Time List, China was ranked first. To put it simply, China is the only one on the current Doomsday War list. Most of the other countries are still in the war dungeon and have not yet appeared, so only the Chinese army has been speed-passed. Sui was looking at the list, and suddenly a new information prompt appeared in front of him. The country's army decided to implement a reenactment war, and repeat the last round of Doomsday War. Difficulty remains unchanged. The punishment after the replica war does not affect the survivors of the country, and the rewards after the replica war are limited to the country's army. Sui was shocked. They don't plan to rest, and they still want to fight the replica war. Could it be that they are addicted to firing artillery?